मैंने उनको फोन किया वो नहीं है मेरा पिछली मीटिंग में उन्होंने एक कोई सज्जन थे उन्होंने यह तो बहुत देते हैं गांधी दर्शन का
Very good. But winter में if you can come to winter.
Dear Mr. Pande, dear Nesa Gschwend, dear guests, it gives me a great pleasure to welcome you here this evening to an exhibition of the Swiss artist Nesa Gschwend. Knotted Threads is the title of the exhibition, a dialogue between cultures. It is in fact the continuation of a dialogue between East and West, which has started some years back. 2 years ago, another exhibition, Red Strings Through My Hands, from the same artist, was hosted here in the India Habitat Center. From Red Strings, Nesa Gschwend went to Red Threads. I do not intend to tell you more about the exhibition. I rather leave this to the curator, Dr. Alka Pande, and of course to the artist herself, who will lead us through the exhibition. Let me at this stage just reiterate how glad we are to have an artist, a Swiss artist, who, inspired from her prolonged stays in India, especially in Varanasi and in Bangalore, combines several aspects of a broad artistic field and presents it to an Indian audience. The relations between Switzerland and India are manifold. This has been reiterated and reconfirmed 1 month ago when the President of India, Ms. Pratibha Patil, visited Switzerland. She was accompanied by a large delegation which included, amongst other, people from business and education. The relation between our two countries, which can be defined as very friendly, could be enhanced further at that occasion. But let me now come back to the title of this evening, Knotted Threads. For me, a knot stands for tie, or link, or connection. It is this kind of knot or link between our two countries, Switzerland and India, which is further forged with the work presented this evening. Let me thank and congratulate Nesa Gschwend for building another bridge. And I wish you a good continuation of this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. For those, I forgot actually to mention his official title. We are working in a very relaxed and very artsy place, but Martin is Minister and Deputy Head of Mission of the Swiss Embassy in India. So that makes him really a very important person for us, but we are actually welcoming him here as a person who is devoted, I hope, more to the development of arts between Switzerland and India. Thank you very much, Martin, for your words and setting the note for the evening today. You've made my work a little easier. Not really prepared for the kind of cold which confronts a person from very cold Switzerland. but she weathered it well. There was a huge amount of cultural difference, which Nesa, I think, assimilated, transformed, a bit unhappy in the beginning, but by the end of it was very, very thrilled to have spent those moments in Varanasi, made friends with Aarti, the sadhu whose work she has documented on the right-hand side of the wall. And Nesa had done work, she's very much interested with what women do, and she had worked with saris and what the sari means as a cultural fabric. And you will see that in the sari, which she has kind of beautifully knotted, tied up, the red sari, which she has strung around her neck and stood in 3 different cultural spaces: Bahia, Salvador de Bahia in Brasilia, Zurich and Varanasi. And what Nesa is doing in a very interesting way, being a teacher and a cultural pedagogue, she is looking at cultural transformations in this 3-piece video. She has taken she's taken a stance in a place where there is a speakerphone. In Varanasi, she says the speakerphone talks about the 2 cultures, giving information, talking about Hindus and Muslims when she was there. In Salvador de Bahia, she was standing in a busy street which was talking, which is the next video, which was talking more about politics and the political figure who was standing for elections. And the last piece is, no, the second piece, sorry, that is the piece in Brasilia. The second piece is near a train station in Zurich, where it was more about information. So she was talking about the chaos and noise in the street in Benares, the very kind of systematic way the Swiss are about the way they work, everything within a framework, and the political landscape of Brasilia, where the speakerphone is talking about politics. So this was a very interesting kind of 3 video projection which she has made here, and she used the metaphor. She likes to take a specific cultural signifier, and here she was standing with these saris which she had knotted around herself and worn them, adorned herself with it, and stood with the saris in 3 different places. In the wax-covered photographs there, in the suite of photographs there, Nesa has actually taken a stool. If you go there, you'll see that she has taken her focus, her cultural signifier there is a stool. And when people are sitting on the stool, there are normally a group of people around the stool. And she is actually again watching what is happening in that space, which becomes a very dynamic cultural space. And then the lovely scrolls that you see, which are here with the color red. Unfortunately, I should have used my brains and worn a red sari. I'm sorry, Nesa. But we can contrast. Yes, it's the contrast. Yeah. So what Nesa has actually done is that she has actually watched the architecture, even in Varanasi. She looked at the jalis, and she was very much influenced by the jalis, or the how do I translate jali in English? The screen, the kind of, it's an architectural motif in Mughal and Rajasthani architecture. So the aspect of the jali she has used in, again, the color red, and she has actually used, if you see closely, it's the shape of a hand. So it's literally like building bridges and exploring identities with her favorite color red, and at the end there are portraits of different faces which she has encountered, which have actually gone on to an area of abstraction. So there are faces which perhaps Nesa can identify, perhaps she's drawn from memory, but these are all her inner landscapes which she has presented in an external way. So I think you're going to really enjoy the exhibition. I may be allowed to say that, that you will. And there is actually a press release and a note which will be lying here for you to understand it better. And Nesa is going to be here all the days in case you want to talk to her. She's an artist with social conscience. She's an artist who is working in a deeply committed, thoughtful manner. And what I am particularly delighted is, normally we do a lot of paintings and sculpture and more of figurative work. And as the art consultant, the other hat which I wear in the Habitat Center, it is really what we like to do once in a while, to also show artists from different cultures, to show their representation, to show the way they are interrogating our culture. So this whole dialogue between the inside and the outside to the inside are lovely journeys and a great deal of sharing in an increasingly globalized, homogenized world. So thank you very much, Nesa, for bringing and sharing your work once again back to the Habitat. And thank you, Thomas, for being such a Trojan and helping Nesa to put the whole thing together. I know it's not easy, but thank you very much.
I'm very happy to be here again in India after 2 years and to have the possibility to show my work again to an Indian audience. Because it's very different than when you show a work like this in the country where you work it out. Because in Switzerland, for many people, when you show especially video works like this, for them it's a little bit exotic. And then they think, oh, that's wonderful, beautiful, colorful India. And then I always say, look it careful, because India is not only colorful. And here, when I set up the show, then I saw all the guards and all these people working here, then they look it very careful, and I saw in their face, they see something completely different than the people saw in Switzerland. And this, I think it's for me very important, that we can make this bridge to other countries also. Yes, so I mean it's for me difficult. I can talk a lot about these works, but I think now we are also here to talk with each other. And to drink a glass of wine is offered from the embassy. And yeah, what I can say is thank you to Alka to give me this chance again to come here back to India. And also thank you to Thomas to help me so much in the background. And thank you also to the foundations in Switzerland. They support me to come here. And thank you to the embassy. And thank you also for the collaboration with Bericht. And so on this point, I also want to say on Friday, we will have a panel here in the show about art and social movement. And this, I think, is the focus, is for me, for my artwork, very important. That you will see it also in the video, that I'm very much focused on social issue in the society, not only in India. This is also part of my work in Switzerland. And so I hope many people will come on Friday at 4 o'clock, and then some people from Bericht will be also here. And yes, I will say thank you for all of you for your interest and your coming. And so, yeah.